What's happening, everybody? What's up, George?
Not a damn thing, sir. Let's get this shit on and over with.
Okay, and before we do that, I want you guys to check out MMAValor.com. Now, our buddies over there, they got a really cool thing actually going on, man. They have Zach Cummings. If you're keeping up with TUF 17, which is going on and being shown right now, Zach Cummings is actually one of the guys in the house. He's actually writing a blog for MMAValor.com, so it kind of gives you an insight of what's going on in the house as he was experiencing it and everything. It's a really cool blog. Run over to MMAValor.com and check it out. You will not be disappointed.
You want the Cliff Notes version of this man's blog? It's real easy. John Jones' team loses again. Chael Sonnen is picking this man's people off like he was up in a watchtower in fucking Texas. And if anyone wants to understand why I cannot stand Chael Sonnen, look no further than the previous episode when he's sitting on the edge of the ring with Uriah Hall and looks at him and goes, I had to go to a sports psychologist because I couldn't get over things. He's a genuinely good dude, and he turns on that WWF shit just for the camera and to get him into a situation like he is right now. And that shit drives me nuts. Be like the Diaz brothers. The Diaz brothers are not putting on an act. This is not a game to them. This isn't a way to talk their way into a title fight. They genuinely don't like the people they're fighting.
Because of their crazy, they sell fights just because of their crazy personalities. As Sonnen actually puts on a WWE act to sell fights. I mean, it's obvious. And you see, it's funny because you see a really cool side of Sonnen, while you're watching this. You see he's a good coach, he's a real personable guy, but then some of the shit you see when he's selling fights is completely the other fucking direction.
Yeah, and this is the reason I don't like Chael Sonnen. And on top of that, he's not that accomplished in the ring. In the UFC ring, he does not have a gaudy record. He doesn't have any standout wins, but to him, he has standout losses. So,
and to him, he feels like he should be ranked in the light heavies. That's the latest news.
Oh, did you just see what came over the ticker? He's actually the number 3 155 pounder.
And he's actually ranked in the heavyweights too, as we speak.
And Uriah Hall, Mortal Kombat, that boy's head clean off his shoulders.
I'm going to tell you what, man.
Somebody yelled finish him, and he spun kicked that Bama's head into the third row.
It was crazy. I mean, and I will give you this. Adam Cella was doing pretty well. He was fighting a better fight than I thought he would fight against Uriah Hall.
He was doing fine till the bell rang.
Yeah, for the first what are those 3-minute rounds?
5.
5 minutes. They're 5-minute rounds there too. I can't remember. For the first 4 minutes and 50 seconds, Adam Cella was doing what he was supposed to. But that last 10 seconds.
Obviously, Kevin's overlooking the push kick that put Adam dead on his ass. And the other thing that bothered me about Adam, he goes, I don't have a lot of pressure when I go in there because my parents own a construction company and I don't have to worry about winning. Well, Bama, maybe you should. Maybe you should worry about winning and train a little harder because you're the first person I've ever seen get knocked down with a front push kick.
Well, but to me, honestly, did you think he was going to do that well for the first 4 minutes and 50 seconds? Honestly.
I thought the fight was going to be over in the first minute or two, so I'm shocked by that.
I did too. So I was shocked by that. Now, where Adam made his big mistake is with that last 10 seconds left, he got a little too relaxed. And he stopped. I don't know what he was doing. He just froze up. And Uriah Hall's like, I think I'm just going to freaking kick the fuck out of the side of your head.
Yeah. So, now, with that said, is there any other MMA news we're missing? Oh, Anthony Pettis?
Yeah, Anthony Pettis, okay. Anthony Pettis is set now to fight Jose Aldo on August 3rd, okay? It didn't take but 48 hours. I mean, you know how it is. He basically said, I want that fight. And if Dana White gets the call, now, if Dana White gets the call, and he likes the call he's getting, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are fighting in the UFC right now that would love to just make a phone call and say, hey, I want this fight, but they don't fucking get it. But Anthony Pettis got this one. You know what I mean?
And like I told Kevin earlier today, the person that this fucks the most is your boy.
Frankie Edgar.
Frankie Edgar, because now what does he do? And Dana White goes, the more weight he loses, the happier I am. Well, does that mean he needs an outcut to 135?
I don't know what he's going to do.
I mean, because here's the thing. If you go down and weight and put on that type of show, I mean, cool. The last 2 rounds you won, but the first 3 you lost. I mean, that was versus the champ. Do we need to see you fight anyone else at 145?
Right. I mean, he said it is Frankie Edgar's not going back up to 155.
Well, hopefully he goes to boxing.
He's definitely staying at,
Hopefully he goes to boxing.
Yeah, you know, when George and I were having a conversation about that, then I kind of told George to really think about where he'd be fighting as a boxer.
He could make a career. I mean, he doesn't need to be the champ to make a career in boxing. He could be top 3 and be paid handsomely and still have a chance at winning because his style pays off for longer fights. And obviously, he can't win 5 rounds, so maybe he can win in the 9th or 10th round in a boxing match.
He possibly could, but he would have to be, the first of all, in his weight class in boxing, he'd be fighting guys 5'10", 5'11", because their legs are this big.
Drop kick him in the kneecap.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't do that in boxing?
It's boxing, remember? Remember all you people that say striking and boxing are the same thing. It's different. Now, speaking of other news, okay, before I even get to this, you know Greg Jackson now is one of the coaches that's going to be coaching for Bellator. Now, Dana White was not happy already when Randy Couture basically said, hey, you know what, he took the job over at Bellator. Dana White, you know, kind of said, hey, you know what, we're a brand here. And Randy Couture kind of came back at him and said, hey, you know what, you got to control your own destiny and I've got to control my own destiny. So obviously Bellator was giving him a fat check to control his destiny. So he made that move over to Bellator, and now Greg Jackson is doing it to be a coach. So they're saying that they're fucking serious about promoting their fucking brand.
Good for them. They're going to have a bunch of lay and praying matches. I can't wait to tune in and watch that horse shit.
Now, Josh Barnett. You remember him?
Turned down the contract, and there was a very small stipulation in the contract they didn't like, and my opinion of it is probably random drug testing.
Right, because they were very happy with what the UFC was offering them financially, but for some reason or another, Josh Barnett's manager came straight out and said there was one thing that we didn't like in that contract, so they said fuck it. So that's not happening. At least right now, Josh Barnett would not be in the UFC. Now, speaking of fucking drugs,
I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Now, speaking of drugs, TRT, failed test, whatever, Vitor Belfort, okay? I know you guys, if you guys follow us, you know we were going crazy about how jacked Vitor Belfort was for his last fight. And basically,
his last fight was where? Where was it?
It was in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
In
other words, when the fight leaves the United States, it falls solely on the UFC to test their fighters.
Right. And the bottom line is this, now it's come out that one fighter did fail, Thiago Tavares, so he will be suspended. He failed the test. But Vitor Belfort was allowed, George, to take the TRT.
Okay, so what are the UFC's regulations on TRT? What's their ratio? Because we know what Nevada is and we know what California is. So what is the TRT ratio for fighting in Brazil?
That's what we got to know, because I mean, you look at everybody who saw that fight, saw what Vitor Belfort looked like when he walked in the cage. It was a completely different physique. And so it's like, okay, so you have to go, and Michael Bisping, did he know that this guy, that Vitor Belfort was going to be? Because you know what he said? He goes, I hope he didn't fail the test. So to Michael Bisping's knowledge, he did not know that he was fighting a fighter. I would have to guess that he did not know he was fighting a fighter that was already approved to be on TRT.
Let me tell you right now, when Vitor walked into the ring and Bisping looked at him, he was like, oh shit. When he saw him at the weigh-ins, he knew that dude was jacked on sauce. Trust me, if you've been around that many fighters for that long, you can look at people in the gym or on the street or just look at them and be like, something ain't right. Now, with that said, you have an excerpt you want to read from an ESPN article?
It is, man. You know, it's interesting because everybody, ESPN kind of not cornered Vitor Belfort, but they questioned him. They had an interview with him, and I'm going to read it verbatim how it went. ESPN came out and said, look, some fighters in their 30s have been diagnosed with low testosterone levels and received exemptions to use testosterone replacement therapy, which is TRT. Have you ever applied for TRT, or would you consider it? And then Vitor Belfort responded, if a question is private, I have the choice to answer it or not. If I make it public, it's not private anymore. If I want to say something private, I will say it, but I keep to myself and I respect the laws of the sport. Whatever the organization, whatever the law, they know what to do. This is too controversial. Why am I going to say something that doesn't accomplish anything? If it's legal, they know what to do. If it's legal, there's nothing to say about it.
But it's not legal. It's technically not legal unless you get all your fucking paperwork, you retard.
Right. And then ESPN comes back and they said, as you mentioned, TRT is legal for fighters who qualify for it. Do you believe it's getting a bad image in the sport? Fans are too quick to judge fighters who use it, right? So then Vitor Belfort responds, it's hard. Like you're either Republican or a Democrat. Who is right? I think it's this. The truth is always in the middle. Of course, some things are non-negotiable. I think in life you just need to find a balance. That's the problem with the rule, is that everyone is so radical. That's my opinion. I'm very faithful to the things I believe in, and I'm working on myself. I don't like to judge. When you judge people, it sounds like you are God. We live in a freedom country. It is what it is. Well, this is the thing I find funny about that response, and I'm a Vitor Belfort fan. The problem is people are too radical. When I saw your physique, you look like you were pretty fucking radical.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, he's one of those dudes who sat there and just talked all the way around the question and all the way back, and he talked for so long you forgot what the question was. And those people in life suck. Like, just come out and be honest.
Yeah. I gotta say, the UFC, the Zuffer brothers and Dana gotta like that, because that was a great response. And taking nothing away from them, I don't care. The thing about this, you can make all the fighters be jacked. I'd probably find it more entertaining, you know, fuck it. But somewhere along, there's guys like Big Country and guys that are very obvious that they're not interested in taking TRT, and they're just going to fight naturally and stuff. And guy even like Michael Bisping that probably did not know he was going to have an opponent that was approved for TRT. How does that become a fair playing ground? Anyway, you guys let us know. George and I are getting the fuck out of here. I'm out, my brother. I'll catch you next time. Hold Philly down for me. We're out.